This is Can We Just Talk, the podcast and YouTube series where it doesn't matter if you're living under a rock. We'll fill you in on the past week's biggest, weirdest, and most impactful stories, headlines, and developments in a nice casual conversation. Set your volume and settle in, because coming to you from a random basement in New Jersey, this is Can We Just Talk. Well, longest hiatus we've ever had. I appreciate everyone hanging around, waiting for us to get back. We had a couple things come up we had to take some time off for, but
I needed a vacation.
I know. The CEO of Polar Media was really putting everyone to work. It was getting a little tiring after a little bit. So we told him to, screw off, give us some time off. We took advantage of our vacation days that would come along with our HR package when we get signed up. And I think it was well-deserved time. Chris, what did you do with your vacation time? I know you've had some busy experiences.
Yeah, I basically just me and my family went down to Florida for a couple of weeks, and we just kind of got away from everything. Obviously it was a pretty busy spring with WRSU and classes and all that stuff going on, but was able to relax for a couple of weeks and ready to get back to it.
I can see it. You look rested. You look relaxed. Like before, you were tan, like so tense, Chris. And you look tan and you look relaxed now. You're not freaking out in the first 2 minutes. Usually, you're yelling at someone so quickly.
Don't worry, Troy. You'll get on my nerves at some point.
Well, Austin's not here tonight, so you might be fine.
That helps.
You might be fine.
I wonder how Richie's doing, though. Is he okay?
Well, I don't know. He's not here. I'll let him know how you're doing. I'll see him after this, probably.
All right.
I'll let him know you're asking for him. Okay.
Yeah.
I know you're missing him. Jacob, you moved to Cleveland, so how are things going there?
It's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Moved out. I'm almost settled, so things are going well. Graduated undergrad, so that was fun. Getting ready. Got an internship that starts next week, so kind of just cleaning up around the place and setting things up. But I had a good vacation.
Good. I'm glad you had and you took the road trip out there. You made all the drive all the way out there. Was your stuff still in the storage unit? Because I know you were a little worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, I had some separation anxiety because I had stuff in a storage unit, but I had it in there for a whole year. So it was a little weird just not seeing my things for a whole year. But that's the nature of it. It was all there. Everything went all right. So we're all moved in now. Now it's basically just me cleaning up.
Well, good. Fully there. Chris, you'll have to go out there and visit him sometime.
We should just organize a Polar Media trip out to Cleveland.
At the ice house on the road.
Yes.
Do that.
Yes.
How about that?
I mean, if some podcasts are out here doing 24-hour webcasts, I think we can organize a trip.
Have you watched any of that webcast today? It's been phenomenal.
I saw the first couple hours. I turned it on right when Stu Gatz was leading the marching band to Nowhere into the studios. I had to turn it off because I had work from 3 to 7 with XM. So haven't been able to catch it. I'll watch some more of it after we're done with the live stream. So
I had it on in the background while I was doing work today, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this because it was good. It was distracting.
Well, that's why I didn't do it.
Honestly, the production quality was great. It was phenomenal. I mean, they were on TV for years, Dan Le Batard in that show, and obviously they were been only remote podcast for the past year or so. So seeing them on YouTube, production quality was there. It'll be exciting. We're competing with them right now because we're live broadcasting at the same time. So hope we're not pulling all their fanboy. I think there were 24,000 live viewers this morning. So I hope we'll probably see numbers close to that, but you never know. Guys, I want to kick off this first story back, and I just saw this about 5 minutes ago, and I thought I read it wrong at first. Turns out, no, it's just a crazy story. An Italian artist sold a new type of, I don't even know what to call it. It's a new type of art. It was an invisible sculpture for more than $18,000 in sale. So an invisible sculpture, that doesn't mean it's plastic clear. No, it doesn't actually exist. It's not a real sculpture. So the full story is the Italian artist Salvatore Garau recently auctioned an invisible sculpture for 15,000 euros, which is $18,000 and over $18,000. The initial price was only $6,000 to $9,000, and I guess there was a bidding war, and it really got shot up there. Everyone wanted this one of a kind, and I can't stress enough the fact it's not real. there's no piece of art. They said it's an invisible sculpture, but you buy nothing. And the artist was even like, well, first of all, they're very obviously reporting that it's not a real thing. You're buying this idea of an invisible sculpture. But the sculpture said it must be displayed in a private home free from any obstruction, because God forbid you can't see the thing. But in an area that is about 5 feet by 5 feet. So the artist was very particular, saying like, you need to present this. This needs to be on full view. You get a certificate of authenticity for nothing. And I don't know how you resell this. Do you resell the certificate? Is that it?
Well, after you resell the certificate, you have to move the sculpture from the old owner's house to the new owner's house.
Does the artist make you rent a moving truck just for the heck of it? Like you gotta at least pretend like you're moving something.
Troy, if they're burning $18,000 on a sculpture that doesn't exist, then why not just throw the moving truck in there? It can't be that much more expensive.
Listen, I understand. I get people who spend. I mean, I'll never fully understand spending that much money, but I understand you have a lot of money. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's a collection type thing. You have a really strong attachment to art or a type of art or an artist maybe, and it's something you really care about and you think it's beautiful. I don't really understand spending $18,000 on something that doesn't exist. And we can make fun of like NFTs all we want about buying like a digital asset, but this isn't even that. This is literally, you're not buying anything. You're buying an emptiness that needs to be proudly displayed in your house in an empty 5 foot by 5 foot location.
It's like a non-fungible token without the token.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like, you know, we've been making fun of people. We've been saying, oh, it's silly that people are spending all this money on NFTs because, you know, a lot of the stuff like, oh, you could just take a screenshot, or like you could just watch that highlight on YouTube of that NBA play that you like. And somehow, some way, they were determined to make that seem smart by doing something even dumber and buying literally nothing. And I think the rumors going around, and what I always see every now and again is like, oh, people just like use art to move money around like illegally, or to like dodge taxes by like donating something to a museum, and it's shady stuff like this, which like, all right, you could maybe see how rich people could kind of skirt some money transfer laws just by like trading around art like this, like literally 18 grand for nothing. It's crazy.
I want to think about how this was originally thought of. Like the artist was like, do you think he thought of this ironically, or do you think he thought of this as actually being something beautiful, like actual art? And then I want to also think about how is this received? When he went to, I'm guessing it was in a gallery or maybe an art show, he's like, all right, this is what I'm putting on display for people to buy. Did no one point out how stupid this is? Did no one call him out on how idiotic this sounds? And I am not criticizing spending a lot of money on art. It's your money. You know, you think it's beautiful. That's great. I think you should do it because it's something you really care about. People have a really strong passion for art. But this isn't art. This is nothing. There's literally nothing involved. The only thing there is authenticity, a certificate of authenticity saying that there's literally nothing. So I don't get it. So I just want to know, did anyone call him out on this bullshit?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there are some uncultured people out there who want to call this bullshit and that would denigrate unique and creative works of art, but I certainly wouldn't stoop to that level. All kidding aside, this is almost certainly a money laundering scheme. I've thought about it for like 15 seconds, and there's no way that this is on the level. Someone is using this to wash their money, trying to pass off as some sort of artsy art collector, whatever the case may be. Someone's washing their money with this, and I don't want to know where that paper trail leads.
I don't think someone's washing their money with this, and I'll tell you why.
You don't?
Because it's too flashy for something to be like a scheme to kind of like, for money laundering. This is like, you're not going to buy something like this that draws so much attention because you don't want to draw attention to this. This is too stupid of a purchase to be money laundering because everyone's going to be like, what the heck is going on? It's being talked about on national headlines. Like you wouldn't do a scam. You wouldn't do something that's illegal in something so obvious. You would do it in something a little, you'd buy crappy art that no one cares that you're spending so much money on, not something that literally doesn't exist that everyone wants to talk about.
Speaking of crappy art, if nothing can sell for $18,000, how much you think I can get for this hand painted
Wow.
artwork of the Cleveland skyline? Look at that.
So
All done 100% by hand, no tracing involved. That's at least 20,000, right? It's got to
Did
be
you
more
do
than
that?
It's got to be more than nothing. Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yes, it's all me.
That's good.
Nice.
Hand
That's
great.
painted.
That's great.
So yeah, I'm gonna donate this to a art like home or something like that. $20,000 tax write off. If somebody could sell nothing for $18,000, I could sell this for maybe a little more. You think?
Jacob, you want us to put this on our Instagram this week? We'll do a bid to charity. Someone can buy it, and we'll donate the proceeds to charity. How about that? We'll do something like that.
I mean,
It's
you rejected selling my feet pics, so I guess we'll have to go with the artwork.
This is a little more accepted by the public. People were a little upset about the feet pics. That was too early on. We gotta like, lean into that slowly. You know, we'll start by selling this art, and then we can twist it by saying
we'll
your
see
feet
where it
is
goes
also
from
art.
there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
What?
I see where you come from.
So now, again, as stupid as this is, we talked about this when we talked about NFTs. Just because it's stupid, I don't think that means it's a bad investment, because I could see this spiking in value. I could see someone saying, "You have that invisible sculpture. I want that. I will pay you $30,000 for that." So just because it's stupid, I don't think that means it's not a bad investment, because I think someone would buy this in the day and age where people are buying AMC stock and it is going up again, and people are buying Dogecoin as it's going up again. This sounds perfect to me. It really does. And it's weird to think that art and investment, like you think of those two things as being like, I know art investing is something, but like I'm talking about like stocks and stuff and art. And you think those are like polar opposite things. And yet there's kind of a middle ground for these two things now, because now art's getting a little ridiculous where we see invisible sculptures and people are kind of buying them almost as like a gag, which this guy might not even have bought this as a gag. He might have just really saw the beauty in it.
I mean, honestly, in the age of the internet, popularity is value. This artist, probably nobody talked about him. Nobody even knew who this guy was. This guy's gotten like hundreds of articles written about this artist because he sold a whole bunch of nothing. Like, yeah, he probably wasn't even selling it to like, all right, yeah, I'll take 18 grand, but I'll also take the 18,000 news articles that are going to be written about me. Now I'm going to be a more popular artist. I'm going to be able to sell my actual art for more money because now more people know who this guy is. And they're like, oh, I want to own some art from the invisible artist guy. It's honestly crazy, but Troy, you made a good point. Like we see it in stocks, we see it in cryptocurrency and other different types of assets where being popular is being valuable, and bringing attention to yourself can be really good even when you're doing something silly.
I'm gonna pull up a post here in a second because this isn't the first time he's done an invisible piece of art, or it's called an immaterial piece of art. He had
you mean
one
this
last
is a trend?
month. For him, apparently. This artist has done this before. I don't know if anyone else is doing it, but it seems to be working for him. And there's he posted it on Instagram, so I'm gonna pull that up to see if I can get. I don't even know what I'm showing you. There's nothing to show you. It's just an empty little spot on the ground. So I feel stupid showing this right now because I'm not showing anything. But guess what?
I have
I'm
a
still
question.
gonna show it anyway. Yeah,
I have a question. Has anyone asked him how he makes the sculpture? Like, just indulge him for a minute. Just be like, how do you make this? What inspired this?
This
and,
guy,
see what he says.
This guy's a business genius. He's selling nothing for $18,000. This guy's an absolute genius. All right, I'm pulling this up for you.
Oh my God.
So give me 1 second, and then we're gonna pull this up. You're not gonna it's just ridiculous. I feel so stupid showing this, and I will explain. Chris, can you do a little play-by-play for our podcast listeners of what we're seeing here?
Okay, so now we've got a live shot at the invisible sculpture. This appears to be a video. Troy, if you could click play on the video so we can give our viewers a better look at what it is that we're seeing.
I'm trying to see nothing, Troy.
It says, for anyone who's listening on Spotify, now it exists and will remain. All right, it just went away.
Buddha.
It's called Buddha in Contemplation. Right, now we're seeing an empty street in Italy. I think it's in Italy. Now the camera is
wow.
moving across
That's
the
beautiful.
street. The street's beautiful. That's not the
That's
issue.
beautiful. Look at
Okay,
that.
there's a sculpture. There's a box drawn on the ground to make sure no one runs into the sculpture, protect it, and then there it is.
That was it.
So
I
don't know.
To recap, it was tape on the ground in a box, and apparently there was something in the middle.
It was a sea bear circle.
Yes, it was a sea bear circle. Exactly. Or sea bear square. So yeah,
The squares don't stop them, Troy.
They don't. You're right. It has to be the circle. Chris, you watched SpongeBob as a kid? Why am I? This is shocking to me.
Why is it shocking? We're almost the same age.
But you don't. It's not an age thing. I can make it an age thing if you want me to.
But
I was saying I'm shocked because you don't watch TV.
Well, not so much now, but when I was a kid, I watched it all the time. Remember when I was a little kid, there weren't smartphones, there was no Twitter, there was no Instagram. When I was a little kid,
why are you trying to make this so easy to make fun of me for being old?
Troy, when I was 4 years old and I was watching SpongeBob and I was watching episodes about
in black and white, Chris,
there was no social media. Cell phones were flip phones, and you had to press the same button 3 times to get certain letters. That's not an old thing. That's a fact. You lived with that too.
I know. Pause for a second. What I'm pointing out, Chris, I'm trying not to make old person jokes so much. I'm trying to do that. But within 30 seconds, you set me up for a home run 2 times in a row. I let slide the first time. And then you bring it back around. When I was a kid, we didn't have cell phones. Like, what do you want me to say? You want me to
I didn't say we didn't have cell phones. I said we didn't have social media. There's a big difference.
I'm just surprised you watched SpongeBob.
You weren't on MySpace, Chris?
Shut up. What did people even use MySpace for?
It was the original social media. You had your own wall.
Oh, that sounds stupid.
It was like you owned a little piece of the internet that people could come stop by and check out.
I hate social media.
I remember those. I remember the good old days, Troy, where we used to G-chat on the computer on what was it called? Google Buzz or something, where you could
we had our Chromebooks too.
Your emails.
I had Chromebooks.
Oh, that was like high school. Well, I'm talking before we had cell phones, and we use Google Chats and send texts to each other through the computer.
I'll do the real throwback. I don't know if anyone ever had a Nintendo DS here.
Yep.
But PictoChat. That was the original text message.
Oh yes.
Where you would color the entire block in and then use the eraser and write with that.
Yes.
You had to. No, but Chris, like I was saying, I was just surprised you were a SpongeBob kid. I don't know.
Troy had all the ladies on PictoChat.
Speed dial.
I believe it.
My PictoChat speed dial.
Okay.
Catch me. Channel 4. I don't even know if there was channels.
My PictoChats were frequently left on red, if you want to know how that went for me.
Well, speaking of that, Chris, I received a friend invite on Snapchat from you this week.
Yeah.
Didn't know you had a Snapchat.
I hardly ever use it.
You're a veteran. You've been around since 2013, but your Snap
but I hardly
score,
ever use it.
Tell me about it. Your Snap score is below 3,000.
I never use it.
That's crazy.
Why do you think, Troy? I've known you for almost 3 years. That was when I just added you. That's how little I use it.
What made you get back on Snapchat?
I don't know. I was bored.
All right. I'm going to send
I don't think I'm going to be very active. Honestly, I don't like social media. I'll just come out and say it. I don't like most social media. If it weren't for my career being heavily predicated on being on Twitter, because journalism is just sort of a Twitter-heavy field, I would just delete Twitter. The only one I don't hate is Instagram, but even that I don't really like.
You don't like Twitter?
Not really.
Really?
You literally work in the media industry.
That doesn't mean I have
media. I don't know.
But I feel like that's not uncommon though, because I feel like there's a lot of professional broadcasters that don't like social media.
But the problem is those are the ones that are established. Like Ian Eagle, for instance, does not have social media, but he doesn't need it because he's already the number 2 guy for the NFL on CBS and the voice of the Nets. Yeah. Exactly.
Chris,
Al Michaels, same thing. But a young up and coming broadcaster, if you're not on Twitter, it's like you don't exist. So I'm kind of roped into it, but I don't like it.
You're pretty popular on TikTok.
I am.
Our videos of you.
Videos of me are popular, but I myself am not popular.
If you got signed up on TikTok,
you're popular to me, Chris.
Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate that.
When you're on Snapchat, Chris, do you send selfies and stuff?
No.
Okay. I knew there was no way you did, but I
I
had to
actually
make
got
sure.
I actually got a snap from Muffin the other day, and it was somehow he got a hold of a flight simulator, and it was a picture of SHI Stadium on the flight simulator. I was like, "Oh, you got a flight sim?" And he's like, "Damn it, I thought I would fool you." And I'm like, "All right, Muffin."
I have a really good TikTok. I'm gonna send Muffin as soon as he sends me, probably tonight or tomorrow. Next time he
Okay.
sends me, or he posts on his Snapchat story of him like drinking like all throughout the night. You know, I found a TikTok of some guy being like, "No one gives a fuck if you're drinking. Stop fucking posting on your Snapchat story. Only millennials do that now." So I'm gonna send that to him next time he posts on his Snapchat, and I hope he doesn't get too offended. But it's Muffin. It's
Big.
okay. I was gonna invite him tonight, but I didn't.
Oh, that would have been fun.
Well, he's probably drinking right now, so I have to wait for him to post on his Snapchat, and then I can.
I mean, that'd be even better. Just
drunk Muffin.
Yeah,
you're right. You're
exactly.
right. Well, guys, art is crazy. We'll never really fully understand what kind of beauty an inanimate, a non-existent object contains, but nonetheless, it's worth $18,000. Jacob, you had a kind of a sad story from me. I don't know the full extent of it yet, but I'll let you catch us up on what's going on.
Well, we were talking about one of your childhood favorites, Troy. That was SpongeBob. The other one of your childhood favorites, Drake and Josh. You love that show. Don't even lie.
Why would I lie about
love
that?
it.
I'm not lying. I love that show.
And just like everything else that Troy cares about, something goes wrong somewhere and messes it up. What did we say? Who was the TikToker guy? David Dobrik.
All right, why are you acting like I love David Dobrik?
You're the only person I know who talks about David Dobrik.
No, I was fascinated by David Dobrik. Like I was just absolutely fascinated by him.
Well, it's easy to say post everything that went on. But to take down another one of Troy's idols here, Drake Bell, he's charged with multiple crimes in Ohio, which is kind of crazy. The details are not really straightforward. I saw like a tweet on Twitter, of course, and it said, "Oh, like it's crazy that like whatever his name is Jared Bell, but he's
first
Drake.
of all, that was the big story for me. Who the hell knew his name was Jared Bell? That's wild.
Drake Bell.
I guess
I saw a tweet and they. Oh, what's up?
I feel like Jared and Josh actually kind of goes well. Why did they not go with Jared?
Too many J's.
Yeah, too many J's. But I saw this tweet of him, and it says, "Oh, he got in trouble for, let's see here, disseminating matter harmful to juveniles." So and on first read, you're like, "Oh, like, did he like curse at a child, or like did he like send like when I first read that, I was like, he must have just like, I don't know, he said something dumb at a show, like children should like do drugs or something like that. That is what I assumed. What do you guys think when you hear like disseminating information harmful to juveniles?
It was disseminating information. Is that what information?
Disseminating matter.
So I mean, is it possible that he just gave a 17-year-old weed at a concert?
I feel like it's more like informational. Like it didn't actually like hand it to them.
What would he
maybe
give,
it is in person.
What would he give? And by the way, I don't think this is that serious because this happened in 2017. Nothing's come of it yet. And I was like surprised because I feel like I just saw him live like 2 days ago on TikTok. He's still posting on Twitter like nothing's going on. So I feel like this is kind of like just coming to the surface, but it seems like not much is going on. He also lives in Mexico now.
Yeah.
He's lived in Mexico for years. He changed his name to Drake Campagna. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, that's some crazy stuff. But I was reading. I was reading into this, and I was like, the story goes deeper because I was like, what does that even mean? What is like disseminating matter harmful to juveniles mean? He's also charged with attempted endangering of children, and I guess from the notes here, he like pleaded not guilty. So I think that's where like the court case is at. but apparently there was inappropriate chat with an alleged victim, which at times was sexual in nature. So this article is kind of hinting that it could be like some sort of like pedophile, statutory rape type of story. I don't know how that relates. Obviously, I don't understand what the explanation of these like charges are, if that like is included, but it's definitely a spin by the media to say, that he had this relationship with what I think was like a 15-year-old, where it may have, gotten to a point where he might be on the verge of being, theoretically canceled or having some like harsh pushback. Because I feel like, if you're in like that pedophile territory, it is tough to come back. I mean, yeah, it's tough for him because he was formerly popular, trying to get back popular again. Always tough to come back, but I feel like if you have that sort of thing against you, it's probably even tougher. I mean, I'm sure as this case carries on, we'll get more information if it was actually like some sexual things and really crossing the line, rather than Troy, like your hypothesis, maybe you just like sold drugs to someone underage. That actually seems like it could make sense too, but who knows?
I'll tell you why I don't think it was anything that bad. Had it, and again, this is only speculation, but the fact that we're just hearing about this now, it's really not that big of a news story unless you search for it. It makes me think it's not like a major sexual related crime, because had it been, I think it would have blown up. And I think it would have been very like, this is what happened. He did this. You know what I mean? Like they briefly mention it, and they weren't even like he did this. They were saying at times it was a little iffy. So that makes me think that this wasn't heavily driven by that matter.
Yeah, and I think he has enough pull to where like if he did something real bad, it would get out, it would get leaked, it would like get it popular and have some sort of I guess trend on Twitter or something like that.
He's had a strange life since everything. He tried to do his music career. He went bankrupt. He lost all of his money. And then, like I said, he moved to Mexico because apparently he's really popular in Mexico. His problem was no one would take him as a serious like rock artist in the United States because he was a Nick kid. In Mexico, they just really like his music. So he taught himself Spanish, and now he sings in Spanish. So he's really popular in Mexico. So he's had a pretty strange path of getting to where he is now. I really hope nothing happened that was too bad. Again, obviously, I loved Drake and Josh as a kid, and he was also on the Amanda Show with Amanda, who was Amanda Bynes, and as well as Josh Peck. No, Josh Peck was the character name. Wait, was the character? Josh Peck is the real name. Josh Nichols.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, Chris, were you a Drake and Josh kid too?
I was.
How did you stop watching TV? I'm confused. You just like stopped watching one day?
I mean, as I got older, I started doing other things.
All right.
But growing up, I was
I
was a pretty avid Nick kid.
Wow. Not Disney?
Not really. Just
you don't like Sweet Life?
Into it more. Sweet Life was decent, but I would take the average Nick show over the average Disney show. Like
no Wizards? Weren't a big Selena fan?
I watched some of it. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. It was not appointment viewing.
Listen, I think you're watching the wrong thing as a kid.
Okay.
But
I feel like it's so tough for like child stars. I feel like they either like great or absolute bust. Like if you're a star, there's no one that's just like kind of level from childhood. Like, like Ariana Grande and like, some of the other Disney stars that like go, or Selena Gomez, that go on to be like really popular in music or acting. And I mean, and again, were they immaculate? Maybe not, but I think they at least improved from their like Disney stardom following that. But then there are other ones that just like fall off like the face of the earth and can't really get play as like an actor or an
How about-
artist sometimes.
How about Josh Peck? I feel like he was kind of middle of the road because he didn't really act too much after. He had a couple things, but he was really popular on YouTube and like Vine. So like he had a bit of a different career. So he wasn't like stardom, but he made his way into the Vlog Squad and like he was pretty popular. So he was kind of middle of the road.
Yeah, he stuck around. There was only three that I can think of that got really big, and that's Ariana Grande, Selena Gomez, and Demi Lovato. Those three became Miley Cyrus too. Yeah, I forgot about her. But like outside of those, like there's a couple that like have sort of stayed where they are. Like Josh Peck is still popular among people that watched his show because he's active on social media. Kenan Thompson was started on Nickelodeon. He's basically been doing the same thing for 25 years. Like there's a couple like that, but for the most part,
Cole Sprouse has done well.
Has he really?
Riverdale. Oh my God, he's like the heartthrob. He's like the heartthrob. A lot of people like.
Yeah, but everybody hates Riverdale.
Yeah, but they all love
it's
Cole
popular,
Sprouse.
but everybody hates it.
Yeah, people love Cole Sprouse. They do. It's interesting. I feel like he's been in some other stuff other than Riverdale. I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head though. You're right. You know who? Speaking of stars who blow up, me and Jacob were just talking about this before getting on tonight. Olivia Rodrigo, Disney star, and now she's blowing up. So it's back again. That Disney stardom.
She's still pretty young too. I don't even know if I'd say like she's got to do a couple more things before I think she's made it, but she's definitely on the right path.
I'm just talking about popularity. Like you can't get much more popular than her right now. I think she's top 10 on Spotify, which is just crazy.
I think she's got the top 3 songs on Apple charts. So, and
she was the musical guest for SNL. Like that's pretty big. Like did Selena Gomez do that when she broke out? Because I don't think she hosted. She was on SNL.
I mean, I'm sure she's probably been on at least as a musical guest.
At
some point. I don't know if it was like right when she broke out, but wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know. Well, really hoping Drake Bell didn't do anything too bad, or we'll see how this pans out. We might not hear anything about this ever again. Too.
I'll go down to the courthouse when it's in session next time.
Yeah, is it? Well, where is it in Ohio?
I have no clue.
Ohio.
It didn't say.
Because Ohio is such a small state. Everything's like an hour away, right?
Yeah, everything's like an hour away. It's basically New Jersey.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Chris, speaking about where Jacob can take his plane to somewhere in Ohio because Ohio's massive. What's going on with the What's going on with the airline industry, Chris?
Yeah, so American Airlines has become the first airline to say that they will continue to not serve booze on their flights until at least mid-September, September 13th specifically. They were going to end their pause on alcohol sales, but apparently there's been continued violence against flight attendants and flight crews. One flight attendant, not on American Airlines, but on Southwest, lost 2 teeth because she got punched by a passenger who didn't want to wear a mask. People are just, misbehaving against the flight crews, misbehaving against, in some case, even pilots. So obviously some really bad stuff. President of flight service for American Airlines said, over the past, we've seen some of the stressors creating on board. So, kind of similar to what you see in NBA arenas in terms of if you want to play that game, we're going to take the booze away. So no alcohol on American Airlines flights until at least September 13th. I mean, as someone who has not flown in about a year now, I can't imagine how bad things have gotten for them to do that, because airlines make a lot of money off of selling booze on their flights, which is kind of odd because I've never had the urge to order a beer while on a flight, but apparently a lot of people do. So
a lukewarm beer is so wonderful.
You got to get the little shooters.
Exactly. I mean,
you got to get the little shooters though, right? You don't get the beer. You either get the little bottle of wine or you get those little shooters that you can get. I mean, a Bud Light's going to taste crappy no matter where you drink it. Forget about it on a plane.
Yeah, it's crappy beer.
Although, isn't it true you get more drunk while flying?
I don't know. I've never tried. It's possible. When you're at 35,000 feet, some aspects of your body chemistry gets a little screwed up. But
All right.
I haven't heard that before. I'll do some research and get back to you.
You know what? Once our check comes in for when we get our partnership deal, Chris, and once September comes to an end, we're going to send you on a round trip down to. We'll go to Texas. That's a decently long enough flight, and we'll see how drunk you can get. All right, how about that?
Okay.
All right. Just don't punch anyone in the face, okay? If you're told to wear a mask, wear your mask, or else you'll ruin it for everybody. Apparently.
Well, you don't have to worry about that. I would never do such a thing.
So this really sucks for some people because there's some people who like are super nervous when flying and like they need to drink. Okay, maybe they don't need to drink. Maybe they can get other healthier ways to do it. But there's some people who rely. Yeah, maybe they should go to see their doctor if that's the case and not rely on drinking. But there's some people who do get like a little bottle of wine or two to take a little bit of the nerve off, you know? So it sucks that someone had to punch someone in the face and now no one can drink. And it really sucks for the people who have a hard time flying now that they can't. Is it BYO? Can you bring your own on? Because I feel like you can buy it in the airport.
You can't bring. Oh, yeah.
There's no way that you're allowed to bring alcohol on a flight.
What? So you can. There's a lot of places once you get past the gate where you can buy
duty-free section.
Well, yeah, you can buy, but like there's a difference between like buying a bottle of wine and putting it in your carry-on and not touching it, and like carrying a beer on a flight.
So is someone going to tell me not to crack open a bottle of liquor I just bought? Like they're going to say put that away?
I think they would.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't let you. I saw something. I think like somebody had like gotten something from the duty-free section and then got to their gate. And the person was like, well, you can't take that on the plane. And they had like a whole handle and they can't like go back and put it in their luggage. They didn't have like a carry-on or something like that. They were like had to like chug the whole thing or something like that. Like they like downed a whole bottle right before.
You can't even take it on the plane? What's the point? Oh, are you supposed to buy it once you get there?
I think you're supposed to buy it once you get there. I think that's kind of the idea. But I think, Chris, you made an interesting point with like the whole NBA thing going on. It seems like we're getting back from COVID here. Things are getting more social. People are just like going back to public events and they're just wilding out. Like in the NBA, like there's been an issue at like I see something like every other day with somebody throwing something at players or like chanting and things like that. Now we have this thing on airplanes. Like I think people are kind of getting reacclimated into like what's socially acceptable. Like, all right, just like, maybe just like don't throw things at people. Keep your hands to yourself. We're getting back to our basic kindergarten rules here as people get used to being around other people again.
So,
I mean, how hard is it not to be like an asshole in public?
Chris, I think this past year has taught us it's very hard to be not an asshole in public, that half the country has a very hard time not being an asshole in public.
No, but I mean, not wearing a mask or following basic rules to keep people safe is bad enough, but even that's not on the level of like, just throwing stuff at NBA players or taking a swing at a flight attendant.
Throwing hands.
We have like a malice at the palace level aggression, like on a nightly basis in the NBA. That's just the normal thing that we've like become accustomed to.
So we all saw the time this past week, the guy tried to rush the court in DC. What was his plan? To get his ass beaten by the 6'12", the 6'11" guys on the court? Like what was this guy thinking? Even the smallest guy on the court is bigger than him.
I mean, my guess is maybe he thought, I can just run faster and get away. I don't know. Like maybe he thought he'd be like the Monday Night Football guy who almost got away.
So
I will say, I find it hilarious when athletes will just like level these dudes.
Yeah.
Because like there's been a couple clips like you could YouTube it. Guys on like team just like, all right, we're not gonna stand for this guy like walking around, and you have just like some middle linebacker just put like a shoulder right through like some guy just running on the field. It's I find it hilarious. I think it's totally a deserved beat down that these people eventually get. But like, what possesses you to do this? It's crazy.
Jacob, you played college football. If someone ran onto the field in the middle of a game and he's coming at you, are you taking him down?
bro, this is literally
Is that your
a
dream?
fantasy of
This
is
your
a
dream?
fantasy of mine. Hold on. I got a whole spiel here. I want to find myself in a situation where I can like justifiably level someone. I am very much looking for that situation because I just want to see what I can do to just like a normal person.
All right.
Like, like when you go to the store and the doors and the little sensor things, like I just like standing in that area. I just want to see if someone's gonna like, try to steal something. If someone's gonna try to run out of the store and take something, and I could just boom, give them a good shoulder. Like I really want to see the level of damage I can do in a justified situation to just like a normal human being.
Oh, okay.
I feel like this is just such a perfect opportunity. Chris, I really appreciate you volunteering here.
Before we go on.
Well, no,
there was one in the MLB. There was one in the MLB the other day. The guy like jumps the fence, and then some dude in the stands tackles him down the stairs into the concrete wall. I was like, man, that was a good hit. I wish I was that guy.
Listen, you see it. I feel like baseball, you see it a lot. Maybe because it's a big enough stadium. There's so many places to jump on. And I think baseball is the funniest because it's such a massive field. There's a lot of times where people almost get away in baseball.
One time someone did get away.
Really?
It was at an Astros game.
So as I was saying, Chris, I think it's a great idea for you to volunteer to see just to see Jacob level you. Because Chris, it's his fantasy. What are you going to deny him his fantasy?
Well, no, he said his fantasy was to level. His fantasy was to level someone. He did not specify me, and I did not specify that he do that to me.
You're going to deny him his fantasy like that?
No. Once again, you have completely invented a controversy out of nothing.
Come on.
All I'm saying is, Chris, when we meet for the first time, you better keep your head on a swivel, man.
Okay, all right. I know how to defend myself.
Chris, I really thought you'd step up. I really thought you'd take one for the team, literally, and let Jacob.
I'm not. I would never say anything bad about a fellow Polar FC co-host. Never.
Then let him do it. Let him do it.
No. That's uncalled for. But I do find it to get back to your earlier point, Troy. I do kind of find it fascinating how some random dude will just run onto a field and think that he can either get away from or muscle a like an NFL player or an NBA player or something. Like I think like watching on TV or like in a stadium, I don't think people fully realize how big most athletes are. Like it's one thing to know LeBron James is a big dude, but like to actually see it in person up close, it's just like a different matter entirely. Like
you met Shaq.
Yes, I did meet Shaq, but I was going to actually mention when I was a freshman in college, I actually got to work a couple games for my buddy of mine is a photographer with the AP. And I got to be like an assistant for him at a couple Jets games. And basically my main takeaway was like, even the wide receivers that you think, oh, that guy's not that big. Like they're bigger than you think. Oh, yeah. And I think a lot of fans don't realize that.
Chris, you don't get bigger than Shaq. You were that close to Shaq.
But I'm talking in the context of a sporting event, and also Shaq I saw for like 2 seconds before he bailed.
Before he made fun of you and bailed.
Yeah, he made fun of me and he bailed. I tried to wipe it from my hard drive.
Shaq literally made an.
Wait, can we hear this story?
Go ahead, Chris. All right. I guess I have to now. So I went with Corey, a friend of mine from WRSU. We went on a trip to cover a women's basketball game down in Baton Rouge at LSU, which is an awesome trip, I should add. Great campus. Weather was awesome. It was late November and it was like 75 degrees. So it was like perfect. And it was a fun time. Got to see the campus, got some good food, all that stuff. As we were walking outside the gift shop that they have for people who visit LSU, Shaq was just there. I shit you not. He was just there. And Corey's like, all right, take a picture of me with him. I'm like, all right, sure. Corey gives me his phone and then his phone locks. Like right after he hands it to me. I'm like, Corey, I don't have your password. I can't get into your phone. And he's like, come on, Chris, take the picture. And I'm like, all right. Shaq, I should add. And I did. And then
Shaq
he just
says,
bailed.
Come on, Chris, take the
yes. And then I took it and then he walked away after.
You're leaving something out of there, Chris.
What am I
You're
leaving out?
Something out.
What am I leaving out?
Either Corey's lying or you're leaving something out.
Corey's lying.
The fact that Shaq said, "Come on, what are you, an old man? You can't figure out how to use a cell phone."
He never said that. He never said that.
Shaq was in on the joke.
No,
Shaq
he did
somehow
not.
figured out the joke.
No, he did not.
Listen. It's either believe you or believe Corey.
Well, I mean, the back of my head was in a lot better shape back then than it is now, but that's another matter entirely.
Well, I think it was more the fact that you were like this, like poking at your phone. Like, it's not working. It's not working, Corey. I don't have an iPhone. How do you work this thing? Is that not what happened? Is Corey lying to me?
He's embellishing certain elements of it.
All right. Well, nonetheless, you met Shaq. He's a big guy. Definitely a big guy.
That I can attest.
Want to get to this final story of the week here. This one's pretty cool. We talk about space a lot, I've noticed. I think it's just because we all think, or at least I think, space is cool.
Yeah, space is cool.
Yeah.
Space is cool. I feel like that's a slept on thing. We don't talk about space enough. So NASA sent some new stuff up into space. You think about the normal stuff. They send up supplies. They send up tools and materials to repair the International Space Station. And sometimes they send up stuff to test some stuff out to see the effects of space and no gravity. This time, they launched living things into space. Obviously, we know that NASA has at times sent dogs into orbit and monkeys into orbit. This time, they sent little baby squids into orbit, like hundreds of them. They sent 100 baby squids and 5,000 microscopic animals, which are set to be launched in the International Space Station on Thursday. So they're already up there. But 128 baby bobtail squid will be used as a part of a research into the effects of space flight on beneficial interactions between microbes and animals. So the squid have an immune system which is similar to that of humans. So we will get to see possibly what the effects are by studying them. The reporter added that the squid will be able to address these important issues in animal health and understanding how this can possibly affect animals in the flight to space, as well as orbiting and being up there for more time. So it's incredible. The other stuff they sent up there, they sent other things like, I think they sent solar panels as well to kind of check that out, as well as like peppers and plants. So I think they're just doing a lot of research on what the effects of space are on living things. But I just think it's really funny. I wonder why squids. I feel like that's a lot of work. You have to have don't you have to have water up there for the squids to be in? The squids have to be in water, right?
Yeah, I think so. If what I know about squids is true, they need some sort of water or some other type of like breathing apparatus to like get them to breathe while they're up there. But that would be kind of cool to think about, just like some squids like floating around in space. They kind of like float around in water already. So like I can't imagine that space is like that different for them.
So do you think there's just like a bubble of water with a squid in it just like floating around, like a little bubble with a squid in it?
Maybe.
I mean, I thought they would, but hang on. When they say in orbit, do they mean like just?
They're pretty cute too. I'll show you a little picture of them.
Oh, that is cute.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so small too.
No, they're not like big squid. They're like little baby squids.
Oh.
Is someone up there taking care of them? Yeah, is someone up there like taking care of the squid, cleaning the tank, feeding them?
Presumably the astronauts.
I'm sure they got an automation for that. It is NASA.
How many people are on the International Space Station?
Probably like
because I feel like it's not that big, right? It's really not that big.
Not that many.
So now they got to take care of squid. They should be getting a pay raise for this. This is ridiculous. They got to take care of animals up there.
I mean, imagine I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of an astronaut. And with my grade point average, that isn't easy. But the thing that comes to my mind is imagine you're an astronaut. You probably have like an advanced degree or a PhD in some sort of scientific field. Maybe you're a scientist, maybe you're in the military, whatever the case may be. You go through years and years of training, finally get to go into space, and they're like, oh, by the way, can you feed the squid and clean the tank and do all these other things? I find that utterly fascinating. That's the predicament they've ended up in.
Interesting.
Yeah. Quite the predicament. So here's where my brain went, and I got a question for you guys. So my brain went like, okay, they're testing out space travel on animals. So that means when we move planets eventually, we're gonna want to bring some animals with us. Like this is like theoretical Noah's Ark type of situation, and I'm wondering which animals for you guys. Pick your top animal that doesn't make the cut.
Wow.
That we just leave on Earth to kind of rot as Earth explodes or whatever happens in a couple 100,000 years.
Can we do animal first one out and then first one in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You can do first one out, first one in. Who's getting on Noah's Ark? Who's not getting on?
And this isn't for, is this for like scientific purposes or just because we like or hate them?
Your choice.
Chris, I'll let you go first. I know you're dying to go.
All right. So if we're just going on strict preference, not necessity or scientific reasons or anything, the first one you save are obviously the dogs. I mean, that's without question.
Good answer, Chris.
They've been loyal to us. We should return the favor and save them after we finished trashing the planet. In terms of the last one, I would leave off like an animal I despise. Probably, I would have to say snakes. Snakes suck. They suck.
They're pretty useful. Snakes.
Okay, they're useful, but they can be useful on Earth away from me. In space, they're not going to be useful.
Well, I think Earth is dying, so you're just leaving them to die.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna look back and be
snakes.
like, I feel like we're gonna look back and be like, damn, we really should have brought the snakes instead of the dogs for the environment. I think they're way more. They contribute a lot more.
Eat a lot of smaller animals.
Yeah,
but I guess my other question is, if we're leaving Earth, are we like trying to replicate like a full ecosystem on our new planet or wherever it is we're going, or are we just like going to be growing food out of a lab? Like, what is like?
We have to have evolved pretty far to.
That's what I'm saying.
Earth.
Is are we trying to keep
I
the
feel
food
like
chain intact, or are we just?
This is
leaving?
more on preference. We can find some other animals that can take the snake's place.
Well, Chris, I kind of like your answers. Don't get me wrong. I think dog's a good answer. It's really from the heart. I'm going to go with I feel like a monkey. There's a lot of similarities to humans. They're really, really smart. There's a lot of studies that we can be doing with monkeys to kind of learn a little bit more about us and our history. I'm going to go with monkeys. I'm going to take a monkey. And I feel like they'd be really useful too at times. We've seen a lot of movies where the monkey grabs the wrench for someone and they save him or something like that. So I feel like they're.
I mean, we also saw Planet of the Apes, but okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, we also know monkeys can go into space. We know what that's like. You know what I mean?
All right, they're already compatible.
So dogs and monkeys have been up there. We know that they can handle it. I think they both died though, so maybe not. First one out, the guys that are out of there, I'm just thinking not useful at all. They don't do anything for anybody. Not that I don't like them, but I feel like a sloth. What the hell do we need a sloth for? They're one of the stupidest animals out there. They don't really. Maybe they do something for the environment. I don't know. What do they eat? Eucalyptus or something? I don't really know. But they're gonna die anyway. They're the most helpless animal in the world. Sloth, we don't need them. I don't think we need the sloth. Shaking your head, Chris?
Not
you
bad.
disagree?
I think they're the dumbest.
No, I don't disagree.
Animal, right?
Oh, okay.
Or something they're one of the not as smart animals.
They're not smart.
So
I think they fall out of trees by
take.
accident. They fall out of trees because they think the
them
branches...
and koalas, just not super smart animals, but that does make them kind of lovable, Troy. So I don't know. Maybe you'll get some pushback for picking them off the ark.
Listen, all the other animals are dying too. We can only take one.
Okay, but there are definitely better ones to nix. There are obvious animals to nix, like spiders and bugs.
See, I was almost going to say bring spiders because they are really useful. They're one of the most important things in our ecosystem.
What about stink bugs, Troy?
All right,
we don't need those.
Stink bugs don't need to come, I guess. But do we count
those
bugs?
Creepy crawlies with 100 legs.
I wasn't even thinking bugs.
I think we could just get rid of bugs as a category altogether.
I think the problem is, I think this is how it goes. Some of the worst things that we could all lose if we lost a type of species completely, it'd be some of these bugs because they're really, really important for ecosystems. So like
Yeah.
losing a sloth, I don't really think it's going to affect anyone too bad.
Okay, that makes sense.
But
I think
spiders would
I'd-
be bad if we lost
Yeah, I
spiders.
mean, we
Yeah.
do need some of these animals, but like this is the future. We're going on personal
We're
preference
fine.
But
I'm taking
also,
squids.
like,
Squids.
here.
also, though, the thing about insects, though, is even though they're super important, it's that they're so diverse and there's so many different kinds of them. Like, there are millions of species of them that we don't even know exist. Like, it'd be impossible to get rid of all of them. It's like when people say, "Oh, we're going to lose all the bees." Like, no, there are a couple species that are declining, but like bees are a very diverse animal group. So, like,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
You think the bee issue is all a hoax?
I didn't say it was a hoax. I said people
It's
misunderstand.
all done by big.
The media
bees.
is blowing this up way out of proportion.
Yep.
Big
insects.
beekeepers.
Seriously. Jeez,
Okay,
Chris, I didn't know you had
I've
those
narrowed.
thoughts.
I've narrowed mine down. Bugs, kind of important. Some of them might have to stay, but most of them could probably go. But I think I'm gonna go with deer. When we go out to space, when we leave this planet behind, let's leave the deer behind.
Oh, I thought you were
You
saying
know
take
what?
the deer.
No, leave them behind. We don't need those things. When I'm not, well, it won't be me, but when my like nth generation is driving their hovercrafts, looking out for deer wherever they go, they will be so thankful that we're leaving them on Earth, because what the heck are deer good for other than just like making you slow down when you're driving in the country and you're like, oh, I see those eyes in the headlights. Gotta slow down because the stupid deer will walk out in front of my car.
That's a good point.
But the deer have the sense to get out of the way once they realize what's happened and you slow down.
Sometimes not.
Do
Sometimes
they?
they
Most
just,
of the,
Chris,
in my
you're from
experience, I have.
Chris, you're from a part of New Jersey that has a lot less deer. We
Well,
are
there's
like
a good amount of deer where I live.
we're like deer capital of the world. It seems like
Well, yeah,
So many deer.
so many deer.
but
Like,
the
oh my
reason
God.
the reason why I bring that up is the other day I was driving on a highway and the car in front of me stopped all of a sudden. I was like, "Oh, that's odd. Hopefully they're okay." And I'm able to get around, and I realized what happened. There was a family of geese walking in the middle of the highway. It's like a 5-lane highway. It was in the 3rd lane. But wait, it gets interesting. They weren't crossing the road. They were going down the highway for like 5 minutes.
You know what? I'm changing my answer. I'm bringing a goose. I changed my answer. I'm leaving the
Bringing
monkey.
geese.
I'm taking a goose. I just want a singular goose. That's what I want.
Just one.
Those are
Lock it in.
territorial, Troy.
You know what? I want
geese.
that guy on my team. When we get wherever we're going, I want the goose backing me up. Okay, seriously, you can't beat that combo.
But it caused
Okay,
a traffic
okay.
jam, Troy. Family caused a traffic
What other
jam
animal
because
could do
it
that?
refused to get out of the road.
What other animal has the guts to do that? Only a goose. I want the goose.
Goose
Jacob-
got some nerves.
Jacob, what are you taking?
This was a tough one, and Chris definitely got the easiest one. Dogs for sure.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't pick cows, Troy. I know you like
You
cows.
can't bring a cow on a spaceship, though. That's the problem.
It's Noah's Ark, bud. You can bring whatever you want.
Yeah, but space. What are you just gonna have a cow floating? Like, come on.
Yeah, of course.
Just certain animals you can imagine floating. A duck, you can imagine floating. That works. Or a goose, you can imagine floating. It's perfect. A monkey, yeah. A cow, it wouldn't make it. I don't think it could handle it.
See, that's true. It's hard to picture, but cows are pretty lovable. I think I'm gonna go after some thought. I think I'm gonna go with goats.
Hmm.
I like goats. I almost did sheep, but I like goats. I think they're pretty like non-problematic. Goat cheese is like pretty good. I feel like they kind of like do their own thing. They're kind of,
Super useful.
pretty self-sufficient. You don't really have to look after the goat that much. So yeah,
They eat
I'm gonna go with
anything.
goats.
They eat anything too.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
I think they are a really useful animal, a really resourceful animal. Also, did you know goat milk is the most popular milk in the world? Isn't that crazy?
Really?
Goat milk? Yeah, because if you go to like other
Well-
countries like India, like that's the milk.
Everybody else doesn't really have cows like we do.
Exactly. Isn't that crazy? People just don't really drink milk in other countries as much.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
The other thing about goats is that they're also just like extremely friendly animals. Like, um, my dad's side of the family used to live on a goat farm actually back in Greece. So like he would tell me all the time about how he used to like playing with the goats when he was little. Like goats are extremely like they're like the prototypical petting zoo animal because they're so friendly. They'll come up to you, say hi, and all that. And they're very resourceful. They have goat milk, goat cheese, all that stuff. They're kind of a jack of all trades, a good utility animal. So yeah.
Really filling that lineup.
There we go.
We've got a goose, a goat, and a dog. Yeah, I'm happy.
Pretty good
with the
animals.
Goose. It's not bad. Someone would be like, "Why are you bringing a goose? What are we doing with the goose?"
I mean, anyone who's been to the
Trust
bush takeout would know bringing a goose is a dangerous
You
game.
want that guy on your side.
Well,
You
what's
want him
to
on your
stop
side.
the goose from turning on you when you're on the spaceship?
You got to have guys in the sky. You know, you can't not have anything that can fly. So if you're taking any bird, I want the goose.
Well, we would also take other animals. I just want to specify that these are our favorites. Like it's not
I thought we only got one.
No. This is like
Oh.
the first animal you would take and the first animal you would leave behind.
Oh, geez.
It's not like, we only have 3 animals for like the rest of time on the new planet.
I might change my sloth answer then because I thought we were only taking one. I was just like really saying like a sloth is useless. I thought we were only taking one animal. Oh, that changes a lot.
No. It's like the first one we would take and the first one we would get rid of, not necessarily the only one for each one.
That seems like a pretty big spaceship. I don't know if we could handle that.
It's Noah's Ark. We have to take more of them. We can't just take like 3 animals.
Some would say we've already hit our ability to do everything in space. So I don't know how we're ever going to get technology that could possibly make that big of a ship.
Austin's not on this show. The future has unlimited potential.
Oh, okay. So we live in a good world where there's possibilities that are endless. Okay.
Elon Musk really did it. He figured it all out.
Noah's Ark 2.0. We might need one. Who knows? All right.
Who knows?
Episode 32 in the books. It's good to be back. Chris, it's great to see you again. I know you were really eager to get back on here and to get back to it. Same with you, Jacob. So it's been great kind of getting back to it. We'll get back to it again next week as well. Hopefully we'll have the full gang here. So keep it locked. More content coming out this week. Can We Just Talk? Episode 32 in the books.